Okay, let's review the introduction to fractions and the fraction parts. Well, first, what is a fraction? Yes, a fraction is one or more of the equal parts of a whole. So say that again. A fraction is one or more of the equal parts of a whole. Well, then a fraction has two parts. It has a numerator, which is on the top, and then you have a denominator, which is D for down, right? So we have numerator, denominator. So what is our numerator? It is the top number. It is how many parts of the equal parts that is used. The numerator is the parts that is used. It's the top number. The denominator is the bottom number. Again, a way to remember is D, denominator, D for down. And it is the total number available parts. Now, I drew a little number line over here, and if we were to fill this in with fractions, if you can see, we start with 0/11, and we went to 1/11. What would come after 1/11, do you think? Okay, so we'll fill in this in. 2/11, 3/11, 4/11, 5/11 was already filled in for us, so what comes after 5/11? Correct. 6/11. 7/11. What comes between 7/11 and the 9/11 that's already filled in? That's right, 8/11. So then we have 9/11. What would be next? 10/11. And then you would have 11/11. That means I used 11 pieces out of the 11 available, and therefore I used the whole thing. That is equal to 1. Anytime my numerator is the same as my denominator, whether it's 11/11 or 100/100 or even 1,000 over 1,000, that simply means I used everything available and it equals 1 whole. Now in the last lesson we introduced the difference between whole numbers, fractions, and a mixed number. A whole number, a fraction, and if we put a whole number and a fraction together and we mix the pot, we have a mixed number. Now I wrote some up here, some difference. For a whole number, we're going to underline it. For a fraction, we're going to circle it. And for a mixed number, we're going to put a box around it. Alright, so if you were to start with 17, what would we do? Would we underline it? Would we circle it? Or would we put a box around it? That's correct. Why would we underline it? Why do we underline the 17? Because it's a whole number. Alright, we have 6/7, and 6/7 is a fraction, so we are going to put a circle around it. Very good. Now, we have 1 and 1/4. 1 is a whole number, a fourth being a fraction, and we put them together, so now we have a mixed number. What was the directions for a mixed number? To put a box around it. Alright, you have a 2 here. What'd you do with the 2? Underlined it. Very good. What'd you do with 2 and 1/2? Put a box around it. Why did you put a box around it? Because it's a mixed number, and that was the directions, right? We have a whole number plus a fraction gave us a mixed number. Now we have 7/8. What do we do with 7/8? We circle it because it's a fraction. What do we do with 3/4? We circle it because it's a fraction. Very good. Again, a fraction is one or more equal parts of a whole. A numerator is the top number, the parts used. The denominator is the bottom number, the total available parts. Here I have a fraction card. Notice I have 4 available total parts. So that's my denominator. And I've used the shaded. We'll take the shaded as the parts that have been used. We ate that part. We took that part out. All right. So this fraction would be 1/4. Very good. All right. Let's do a few more. All right. Again, we have 4 total parts. We've used 2. So our fraction is 2/4. Here, again, we have 4 parts. This time we've used 3. So this is 3/4. These are all proper fractions with my numerator smaller than my denominator. Here you have 4/4. You had 4 parts available and you've used all 4. So this is 4/4, which will become an improper fraction because the numerator and the denominator are the same, and 4 divided by 4 is the 1 whole. Again, here we had 11 elevenths, 100 elevenths, 9 ninths. The numerator and denominator gives us a whole. All right, here, if you can count the available parts, you have 6 available parts. You've eaten a nibble of it, one little nibble of that part, one equal part. So this is 1/6. Here, again, you have 6 parts, but this time you ate 5 of the available 6. So what's the fraction? 5/6. Very good. Here, if you count the total number, this is like a pizza. It has 8 pieces. You've cut the pizza into 8 pieces. And you decide you're going to eat 3 pieces of the pizza. So you have eaten 3/8. You still have 8 pieces. Now you have another pizza. This is a mushroom and onion pizza. And I'm hungry today, and I'm going to eat 6 pieces. Ooh, that's a lot of pizza to eat, Miss French. 6/8. Here, you have 9. So you have a cake. You have a pie. How about that? And you have 9. You've made it into 9 available pieces. And you have 8 guests. And they all want a piece. So you have used 8 ninths. Here, you have 9. You have another pie. And this time, your 9 guests, only 4 of them want a piece of pie. And so now you have used 4 out of the 9, so you have 4 ninths. Today we're going to get into improper fractions, and we're going to get into changing improper fractions to mixed numbers. And then we're going to do it backwards, take a mixed number and make it into an improper fraction. So first we're going to take the improper fractions, and we're going to solve them into mixed numbers. Then we're going to take the mixed number and turn it back into the improper fraction. Alright, so as you can see, I wrote some improper fractions on the board. Now remember, in improper fraction, the numerator, the top number, is larger than the denominator, the bottom number. Now, when we come to improper fractions, the fraction bar simply means divide. So fraction bar simply means divide. And when we use our rules for divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Alright, so now an improper fraction simply means divide, so we're going to division. Now, when we have our answer for an improper fraction, we will have 2 possible choices. We will either get a mixed number, which is a whole number plus the fraction, or we'll get a whole number. So when we have an improper fraction, we have 2 possible outcomes, a mixed number or a whole number. So here I have 8 as my numerator, 4 as my denominator. So this simply means 8 divided by 4. And if we know 8 divided by 4, that's a whole number, gives us 2. Okay? Here I have 9 divided by 5. Alright, so I take 9 and I divide it by 5. 5 can go into 9 one time. I multiply back. Now I subtract. 9 minus 5 is 4. Now I'm going to take my remainder, make it a numerator, 4. My divisor will be my denominator, 5th. So 9/5 gives me a mixed number of 1 and 4/5. Alright? How about 10 divided by 2? You know your 2 times 5 is 10, so 10 divided by 2 gives me a whole number, 5. Now I have 6/5. 6 divided by 5. That's an improper fraction. Means 6 divided by 5. 5 can go into 6 one time. Very good. 1 times 5 is 5. I subtract 5 from 6. I get 1. Again, I'm going to take my remainder, make it my numerator, the top number, taking my divisor and making it my denominator. So 6/5 is the same as 1 and 1/5. Here I have 2 over 1. That simply means 2 divided by 1. That's right, it's 2. Now I have 11 over 7, an improper fraction because my numerator is larger than my denominator, but this means 11 divided by 7. 7 goes into 11 one time. 1 times 7 is 7. Now I subtract. 11 minus 7 is 4. Take the remainder, make it your numerator. Take your divisor, make it your denominator. You get 1 4/7. Now we're going to take our mixed numbers and put them back to improper fractions. So we've solved improper fractions. Now we're going to take a mixed number and turn them into improper fractions. All right, so I have some mixed numbers. A whole number plus a fraction gives me a mixed number. Now I'm going to put these into improper fractions. And you ask why? Well, when we get to multiplying fractions and dividing fractions and all that good stuff, we'll have mixed numbers and we'll have to make them improper fractions before we do the multiplication and the division of them. Now, the simple rule is the whole number times multiplied the denominator, the bottom number, and then you will add, it's hard, let's do add, the numerator, the top number. So, whole number times the denominator plus the numerator. So, whole number times the denominator plus the numerator. And in our denominator will be the same. All right, so here we have 2 2/3. I know my denominator will be 3. This right here tells me it's going to be 3. Now, what is the rule? A whole number. What's the whole number here? That's the 2. And we take the whole number and we multiply it by the denominator. That's the 3. So let's start with that. 2 times 3 plus 2. Very good. So 2 times 3 is 6 plus 2 is 8. Now we have an improper fraction, 8/3. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to get 2 2/3 right back. If I take 8 and I divide it by 3, which that's what that says, 8 divided by 3. 3 goes into 8, that's right. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract, take the the remainder, make it your numerator. Take your divisor, make the denominator. So 2 2/3 is the same as 8/3, or 8/3 is the same as 2 2/3. Now, let's do 5 1/6. First off, what's going to be my denominator? What's going to be my bottom number? Okay, 6. I'm given that because that is my denominator previously. Now, what's the rule? Whole number. What's the whole number? 5 times the denominator. So 5 times 6 is 30, plus 1 gives you 31. Very good. Now, 7 3/4. What would be your denominator? Okay, we'll keep 4 as the denominator. We take the whole number, you times it by the denominator. So 7 times 4, 28, plus 3 gives you 31. Very good. Now you have 8 4/5. 8 4/5, what's going to be your denominator? 5. Very good. Again, we're using the same denominators as in our mixed number. Now, whole number 8 times 5, 40. 40 plus 4, 44. Very good. Now we'll give you a few to work on, and we'll pick up for you to practice while you wait till the next lesson. So if I gave you 9 4/5, I want you to put that into a improper fraction for me. If I have 10 7/8, I want you to put that into an improper fraction for me. And then I'm giving you an improper fraction. If I give you 9/8, I want you to put that into a mixed number or a whole number. Again, an improper fraction either gives you a mixed number or a whole number. So these are what you're working on over the next couple days, or the next day. We have 9 4/5. I'll give you a hint. Your 5 will be your denominator. 10 7/8. Your denominator will be 8. Now this is 9 divided by 8. So you can set it up 9 divided by 8 equals. This and this is exactly the same. Again, an improper fraction, the fraction bar means divide. Now, until next time, please like, share, and subscribe, and keep working on your math. See ya.